Citizens and members of the Sioux City Human Rights Commission voiced their concerns about a proposed budget cut to that specific department. Now, last week, the city council voted to cut $140,000 from the department's budget for fiscal year 2026. That amount slashes the Human Rights Commission budget by nearly 40%. Many people voiced concerns about the timing of this cut. They cited the recent signing of a bill into law by Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, removing transgender and non-binary people as a protected class as a reason. Gary Lewis, the commissioner of the Sioux City Civil Rights Commission, says that people in the department were shocked by this decision.
We always got to have hope, and for one thing is I do empathize with them. I do know that decisions have to be made, sometimes tough decisions, and often it's the weakest among us that get hurt, but that shouldn't be the case when it comes to something with human rights. I hope that we can all work together and find a way to make both sides able to function.
The City Council has yet to approve the operating budget for the next fiscal year. That will take place April 14th.